This morning I'm here on Swift Ward talking to members of the dementia specialist care team around the particular facilities here on Swift and Holly Ward. But actually the team have been doing so much more than that, and I think it'd be really great for us all to hear from them the work that they've been doing. We'll talk a little bit about the room we're in shortly, but it'd be really good to talk a little bit about the work that you've been leading in the organisation with colleagues around meeting the needs of our patients with dementia. How long have you been working here now,
I've been
Dave?
at the trust a year and a half, and things have just changed unbelievably in that time. The big change that's happened is the awareness. People are really aware of dementia. People are very engaged. When I say people, I mean all the staff.
Yes,
they're so engaged.
brilliant.
And they're asking for training, they're asking for advice, information, what can we do?
What's the population in the hospital?
Last year there were 3,000 patients with dementia in our hospital, and that's people with a diagnosis. So there's probably about 40% of people who have dementia who haven't been diagnosed.
Okay.
So we've probably got about 4,000 people with dementia stayed in our hospital last year. Our team, we see on average about 150 patients a month.
What are their unique and special needs that we could all be thinking about?
First of all, their memory's impaired, so they struggle to remember new things.
Okay.
So for someone with dementia, although you might explain that you're in hospital and why, they could easily forget that within minutes. Maybe you don't have to constantly tell them why they're here, but just reassure them. Big problem for people with dementia is eating and drinking.
Yeah.
Now this happens generally along the whole disease process, but it can really become a problem when people come into hospital. I'll give you an example. You might have someone who they're living at home and they're just about managing to eat. They might have some relatives come in who prepare the meal. It's usually the same time every day. Maybe they're watching the telly, so there's the same TV programme on. They come into hospital, they lose all that. Nothing says to them, this is mealtime.
Okay.
Particularly the fact that they're sitting next to their bed. Not many people sit next to
No,
their bed and eat their dinner.
absolutely not. We don't, do we?
This is one of the reasons we've got this dining room, is that we can bring people in here and say, this is an eating environment, it's time to eat.
So starting to create some visual clues within our hospital environment to help trigger those memories.
That's right.
Around what I need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. So now I'm very lucky to be joined by Layla Hibbs, our dementia specialist occupational therapist. Now, some of the things that Dave was describing was this piece around creating visual clues for patients that help them orientate. And I know you've created visual clues around the individual bed spaces, haven't you?
Yeah, so every bed space has got a different colour with a contrasting colour of an object. In the male bays we've got some vintage cars, and in the female bay we've got some vintage dresses which Vogue provided the images.
You talked about the contrasting colours. That's important, isn't it?
Absolutely, because when you've got visual problems as well, it kind of doesn't matter what the colour is, you can see the contrast.
There's some unique features in the bathrooms as well, isn't there?
Yeah, we've got contrasting toilet seats. So we've got blue toilet seats and blue handles, and that enables people to be able to actually see it. In other areas we have white toilet seats on a white background and a light coloured floor, and so it's quite difficult to actually
discern where the loose seat is, which is a danger in terms of falls and so on,
and continence as well.
So you've created clues around the bed spaces. Dave talked about this room creating an environment that triggered the sense that, you know, this is now time to have a meal. But you've got some other sort of more general features of the bays, haven't you? The flooring, the lighting.
So the flooring we've got, it's a wooden style flooring. It absorbs the sound, and also because of the padded layer, it also means that if someone falls over on the floor, it reduces the risk of them sustaining an injury.
Wow, that's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So using the materials that we've put into these bays to create a safer environment as well as a more comfortable environment.
That's been a huge part of making the environment feel more homely as well.
Now, there's something special about the lighting, isn't there? And I'm keen to get some of this in my office, so I'd like to know more about it.
Yeah. So the colour of the lighting changes throughout the day. So in the mornings the light has a blue tinge and it goes throughout the day to be a much more natural lighting. So towards the end of the day there's a red tinge to the light. It helps improve sleep, and research shows that it decreases the risk of what we call sundowning, so people getting much more confused, much more agitated in the evening as well.
Okay, so clearly you've been doing brilliant work, and I'm so proud of the work that you and Dave and the rest of the team have been doing, and particularly this facility, and I'm really, really looking forward to hear the difference that it makes for our patients. So there we have it. Thanks to Dave and to Layla for sharing their experience and expertise and knowledge with all of us. Key messages I've picked up, and hopefully you have too, is that we can make some quite simple changes to the environment for our patients that will improve their experience, things like the colour contrast and the visual clues. But of course, please think about what that means for you in your practice, and of course get in touch with Layla and Dave if you need any expert advice. Well, thank you again. Thank you to both the team here for doing the message today, and also thank you to all of you for listening and watching. See you next time.